A horrifying scene unfolded on Saturday night as passengers travelling from Doncaster to London became the victims of a brutal mass stabbing on board a train. The incident, described by witnesses as chaotic and terrifying, has left the entire United Kingdom in shock. According to early reports, at least 10 people have been hospitalised, with 9 suffering life-threatening injuries. What began as an ordinary evening journey quickly turned into a nightmare that few will ever forget. Eyewitnesses say the train had just left Doncaster station when panic erupted in one of the carriages. Screams echoed through the compartments as passengers tried desperately to escape from the attacker. Some were seen jumping over seats, others rushing toward the doors as the chaos spread through the train. Several passengers used their belongings to protect themselves and others, while a few brave individuals attempted to confront the assailant before police arrived. Emergency services were immediately alerted, and armed officers, paramedics, and firefighters rushed to the scene. The train was brought to a halt at a nearby station where police boarded and swiftly apprehended the suspect. Authorities have since confirmed that the attacker was detained at the scene and is now in custody. Forensic teams have been working through the night, collecting evidence and taking witness statements as investigators try to piece together the motive behind this horrifying act. Passengers described the attacker as a man who appeared increasingly agitated before suddenly launching the violent assault. One survivor told reporters that the man had been pacing up and down the carriage moments before he pulled out a weapon and began stabbing people indiscriminately. Others recalled seeing blood on the seats and floors, with victims collapsing in shock and pain. As passengers tried to administer first aid, videos recorded by terrified passengers have begun circulating online, showing the chaos and fear that swept through the train. In one clip, people can be heard shouting for help as they rush toward the exits. Another video shows paramedics attending to multiple victims, lying on the platform while police secure the area. Authorities have urged the public not to share graphic scene content and to allow investigators to carry out their work without interference. A statement from the British Transport Police confirmed that 10 people were taken to local hospitals, 9 of whom remain in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. The 10th victim sustained minor wounds and is assisting detectives with details about what happened in the moments before the attack. The police also confirmed that there is no ongoing threat to the public and that the situation is now under control. Prime Minister and Home Secretary have been briefed on the incident, and both have expressed their condolences to the victims and their families. In a message posted on social media, the Prime Minister described the attacks as an act of senseless violence that has no place in our society. He also praised the quick response of emergency services and the courage shown by ordinary citizens who stepped in to protect others. The Home Secretary has ordered a full review of train security and emergency response measures following the attack. Discussions are already underway about increasing patrols on major routes, installing more CCTV cameras, and introducing new protocols for handling violent incidents on public transport. Experts have also called for improved mental health assessments and better support systems for passengers and staff affected by such traumatic events. Witnesses are still being interviewed, and investigators are examining whether the suspect acted alone or had any prior history of violent behaviour. Some reports suggest that the attacker may have been known to authorities, although police have not yet confirmed any background details. They have, however, stated that there is no indication of terrorism at this stage, and the motive remains unclear. As news of the attack spreads, messages of support have poured in from across the country. Commuters, transport unions, and government officials have all expressed their solidarity with the victims. Candlelight vigils are being organised in both Doncaster and London, where citizens will gather to honour those injured and show unity in the face of violence. Train services between Doncaster and London were suspended for several hours as investigators carried out forensic examinations. The route has since reopened, but passengers have reported a heavy police presence and heightened security checks. Rail authorities have reassured the public that safety remains their top priority and that additional officers will remain on duty for the foreseeable future. Several hospitals in the region have confirmed they are treating victims from the attack. Medical staff describe the injuries as severe, with some patients requiring emergency surgery. Trauma specialists and counsellors have been brought in to support both victims and witnesses who were on the train. Doctors have said that while some passengers remain in critical condition, their teams are working tirelessly to stabilise them. In an emotional interview, one mother described the moment she received a phone call from her son, who was travelling on the train. "He was crying and saying there was blood everywhere," she said. "He told me people were screaming and trying to hide. I just kept telling him to stay down and not move until the police came." Her son is now recovering in hospital, one of the lucky few to escape with non-fatal injuries. As the investigation continues, questions are being raised about how such an attack could occur on one of the country's busiest train routes. Critics have pointed to gaps in rail security and the lack of screening for passengers boarding domestic trains. Others argue that random acts of violence are unpredictable, and while security can be improved, complete prevention may not always be possible. Psychologists have warned that the psychological impact of such an event can be long-lasting, not only for survivors, but also for witnesses and first responders. Many who are on the train are likely to experience trauma, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress in the weeks to come. Support groups and helplines have already been set up to provide assistance. Police are expected to hold a press conference later today to share updates on the suspect and the ongoing investigation. Early indications suggest that the man acted alone, though investigators are analysing his digital devices and social media accounts to uncover possible motives or warning signs. Detectives have also appealed to anyone who may have been on the train or nearby stations during the time of the attack to come forward with information or footage. This tragic event serves as another reminder of the fragility of public safety and the importance of vigilance in everyday life. Authorities continue to stress that such attacks remain rare, but they acknowledge that more needs to be done to ensure passengers feel safe while travelling. As the nation waits for further updates, there is an overwhelming sense of sorrow and disbelief. The image of a quiet Saturday evening turning into chaos has left a deep scar on the hearts of many. Yet amid the horror, stories of heroism have emerged. Passengers who shielded strangers, railway workers who risked their lives, and medical teams who responded without hesitation. While the investigation may take weeks to complete, one thing is certain: the resilience of the British people will once again shine through in the face of tragedy. Communities are standing together, determined not to let fear divide them. The victims and their families remain at the centre of national attention, and the country unites in the hope that all those injured make a full recovery. Police have reassured the public that their top priority is justice for the victims and safety for everyone who travels by train. For now, the message is clear. The UK will not be intimidated by acts of violence, and those responsible will face the full weight of the law.